Hey everybody, Jamie from the Marine Doctor's YouTube channel, and I think we're going live, or at least I believe I'm going live. It still says connect streaming software to go live, but I think I am so far. In any event, I'm going to keep on talking, just because. Alright, so we have to cover off some videos that I did last week, and I wanted to talk about them. I apologize for missing the last couple Fridays. The ball game was this past Friday, so I was watching that. And the ball game was the previous last Friday, and then something came up that I couldn't get down and stream for you guys. I apologize. So, the videos from last week that we talked about was... Let me see here. I gotta check something. It's still telling me I need to connect. Let me double check my phone. I don't want to get going here and then have to restart. My phone will tell me. Bear with me. Does not appear that I'm live yet. I will do this. I'll double check. Anyone out there, if anyone's out there that could reply to me, but I usually get a notification on my phone, which I don't see. Yeah, it says I'm live. Well, let's keep going. I apologize for all of this mess. And yeah, let's keep going. Just give me a sec here. Still. Okay, we're good. We're good. We're good. Let's go. Okay. So, again, I apologize for missing those past streams, and let's get started on this one. So what I wanted to talk about today was the past videos that I'd made, signs of your VRO failing. Bye-bye E-Tech. It wasn't really bye-bye E-Tech. I had actually taken a 175 off of a, what was it, a Crestliner, and installed a 150 Merc onto it. It was actually quite a big job, and I got to install SC1000 gauges on it and everything, so it was a pretty big undertaking, and I made it through it. And this past week, I started an install on a bass boat, fiberglass bass boat, that has its challenges. Let's just say that it almost feels like they put all the controls and everything into the boat and then sandwich the hulls together. It's strange at best, but I'm fumbling my way through that, and hopefully everything goes smoothly with that. Most times it does. Okay, what else do we have here? Why people are rushing to buy 4-strokes. So that was me just creating an AI post because I didn't have any material to throw out there, so I just quickly threw something up on AI. I had... it's not called Internet Explorer anymore. It's Copilot. I had Copilot make that up for me, and then I just put it up there, converted it over to a file, and put it up for you guys. You're destroying your engine 100 to 1 premix versus 50 to 1. A very successful video that I released last week, and I did quite a bit of research before I went ahead and dropped that video, because I wanted to make sure that everything that I learned through the years was correct, and it indeed was. I know there are other competitors, Johnson Evinrude. They also ran at 100 to 1 for a small amount of time, and then rescinded on that and tried to switch everyone over to 50 to 1, and that was to save the engines. And I ran through a little bit on that video about why we would want to run at 50 to 1 rather than 100 to 1. And for the most part, the casual user would be perfectly fine running at 100 to 1. So that's light trolling, light duty work. But anyone that was getting into commercial stuff it was not really recommended because it would wear the engine out quicker. And I had some good follow up with that with comments, and there were comments there that actually stated that people were able to get longer life out of their engine than expected, even though they were running at 100 to 1. And I think another guy ran at 70 to 1. So there were ways around these issues, and seeing what I see out of the fleet engines and seeing them, all starting to quickly wear out the more they get used at 100 to 1, I've requested that he switch over to 50 to 1 so that these engines, can now have a longer life. What got me on the track with wanting those engines converted over was the fact that I was having to take the anti-tamper plugs out of the carburetors and start opening up the fuel mixtures to supply more fuel at idle so that these things would run. Now, I wasn't seeing it per se immediately, but what I was seeing was the odd engine would come back with the same issue that I'd sent it out with, yet it ran fine. I'm streaming right now. It ran fine. So at the shop when I ran it at 50 to 1, but then they would take it out, they'd run it at 100 to 1, and they would have issues with it. So I started, more of a little deep dive into, what was I getting into? So I started scoping the engines to find out why this was taking place. And I was coming across damage on the engines, on the cylinder walls, and the pistons themselves on the skirts, representing that these engines were running lean and damage was taking place. So I went ahead and started opening up, like I said, taking the anti-tamper off and opening these things up to clear up and hopefully help these people with these engines and increase the life. I think I saw 4 of them already that I needed to open those up on. So that's all taken care of, and hopefully we're on the right track now. The engine from China that they purchased said to immediately run it at 50 to 1, no 100 to 1, even though it was a Yamaha clone. So, I guess goes to say that we probably shouldn't have had these engines running at 100 to 1 years ago either. But, keep in mind that also comes down to the fuel that they're running, how long the fuel sits and things like that, and the kind of abuse that these engines are actually taking. And again, I mentioned before that if it's casual use, it's going to be fine for the most part. So that would be probably the average person out there that just gets a little bit of boating in every week and goes out and has fun, I guess, kind of thing. Light duty fishing. Bye E-Tech. Hello Mercury 154 stroke again. That was me taking an old engine off, which I sold all the parts to a competitor down the block. And then, because I'll never sell the E-Tech stuff at my shop, no one comes in asking for it, and I just don't have the volume of people or the volume of E-Techs that I repair anyway. So I just took the salvage and sold it, and then installed that Mercury. So the signs that your VRO is failing, that video actually is to do with my daughter's boat. So I rebuilt her engine 7-8 years ago, and after I think about 4.5 years, it went down. Unfortunately, they didn't have the funds at the time to throw at it to make the repairs, so it sat in limbo. So I finally got back at it a few days ago. And on the inside of the engine, it needs a sleeve, which I saw from the outside because it had a crack in it. And number 2 cylinder actually seized up. So when I was looking at it from the outside, it looked like it was due to just a simple overheat. But on the outside, so where the components are, I didn't see anything that had melted over time. So that was starting to lead me in a different direction. So I talked to them and I said, okay, minimum, this is going to be like $2,500. That's not me charging anything. That's just parts and the machine shop putting a new sleeve in and cleaning up the cylinders, putting new pistons in. So around that $2,500 mark. But when I opened it up, it was worse. It was worse. I started to see some unfamiliar things that I don't typically see when I open up 2-stroke engines. And one was the void of oil. There was, typically speaking, we'll have, gobs of oil and fuel that are left inside the crankcase just sitting there that, for the most part, before I take it over to the machine shop, I physically have to wipe it out with a rag. I didn't at all have to do this on this engine. So I started taking a closer look, taking the rod caps off and stuff, and noting that the rod caps were actually turning blue in places from heat that was being generated. I saw that the center main was completely dry, and when I was spinning the crank over, absent of the pistons, it was making a labored sound. So you could physically hear the bearings making a different noise, or the center mains and the two outside bearings making different noises than they typically do when we have oil in them, I guess. So what I ended up doing with that engine was pushing it aside. I told them that the engine is most likely going to be too expensive to fix, so it's repairable. It's just going to cost too much for the vintage of the engine. So it's a 1994 140 Looper is what it was. So I kind of cast that aside, and now we've got an engine rebuilder in Manitoba looking for one, and we got some pretty good leads. So hopefully we can get something from them and get them back out on the water. That would be super. What else was I up to last week on here? I think I did more videos than that. I tried my first podcast, so I wasn't reinventing the wheel. It wasn't new content. It was old content that was, well, for lack of a better word, regurgitated as a podcast. So basically I removed the video and put it up as a podcast because I wanted to see how they did and see how, if it was another avenue that I could go. Limited success, but probably like everything else, you can't judge the results by a singular attempt. So I'll probably throw up another couple of those. Keep in mind that podcasts are not designed for watching; they're just designed for listening. So at your leisure. So if you're driving or whatever, you don't have to be looking down at a screen to watch those, or sorry, not watch those, listen to those. What do we have here? The truth about two strokes. What was this about? I don't even remember. Truth about two strokes. Let me look here. Oh, where's the description? Did I not put one in? Oh, this guy. Terrible this guy is. Truth about two strokes. My gosh. I created a video and I don't remember what it's about. Maybe the comments will tell me. Smokes. Oh, that was. I think that one was the one about where the smell of the oil was the thing that reminds me of being out at the lake. I think, and the memories that go along with the smell of the oil. So that was just kind of a nostalgic type video that I put up just for memory's sake and to jog people's memories with regards to two-stroke and why some people still like to run two-stroke engines. The smell of two-stroke oil and pine, I think, was where I went with that. What else did we do? Oh, no, I talked about that one before. Yeah, I think, other than shorts, let me look at my shorts. What else? Outboard warning signs that you shouldn't ignore. That was a short that I created, and it was shortly after, I think, to support the oil one that I did with the Yamaha stuff. So what to look for: hard starting, poor idle characteristics, won't accelerate, things like that. That was actually a fairly good one. It did quite well. What else we got here? Oh, the 5 reasons I fixed two-stroke outboards. That one did really well. I hit over 20,000 on that one. That was a good short. Shorts aren't money makers. I just do them for your guys' content so that you guys have something that you can watch. I enjoy making them, especially if something weird comes up at the shop. But anyway, I just wanted to say hi to you guys, and I'm going to bugger off, and I will see you guys on... I'll see if I can make one tomorrow at the shop. I just got to think of something to do. Anyway, I do have some videos coming up. I still have to shoot them about some engines that I purchased off of Facebook Marketplace. So we're going to see what happens with those. And with that, I will see you guys on a flip.